we got this little idiot named Ben Shapiro that talks just like this, has no bass in his voice. He sounds like a little Donald Trump understudy or maybe a fucking Pee Wee Herman reject, right? And I would fucking blow my fucking brains out and be insecure and probably push hate or blow my brains out, whichever the case. I probably just end my fucking misery. But unlike you want to go ahead and push the fucking hate that you do because you have insecure as a little man because you have no fucking bass in your voice, right? Well, to the walking contradiction point, let's go ahead and talk about all this because I got a lot of fucking points, right? Number one, let's talk about this thing on Bill Maher's show with the critical race theory, right? Some guy was pushing your buttons or whatnot, basically sounding smarter and more intelligent than you, and your only comeback at the end was, oh, I'm gonna go cry in my little bed of money tonight. I want y'all to remember that about this idiot, right? Then the same idiot has the motherfucking balls to go and say in a congressional hearing that he has no problem with the immigrants that contribute to the state and basically pay the tax, pay a tax dollar, right? And contribute a contribution to the U.S., but anybody else should be deported. But then you practice ancestry that comes from the Middle East because you're Jewish, you rock a yarmulke, and I have no problem with the Jewish community, but how are you another immigrant or practice immigrant ancestry and you want to have the balls to go and say anything about another immigrant that comes from another country, right? Strictly from the South, by the way. Don't never hear this shit about another Jew, about another fucking German, about a European, a Canadian. You don't hear about that shit. It's only people from the fucking South, right? Of Latino or Afro-Latino descent, or African descent. So, you got such a problem with these people because they're supposedly not a contribution to the state. Now, I want you to remember how many times I say contribution to the state, right? Because this idiot pretends to be a man of God, but everything seems to be a contribution to the state rather than a contribution to God, right? So, number one, when we stick on the immigrant policy, right? Number one, immigrants all pay a tax dollar because anything that they spend on here is taxed. Food, clothes, gas, all that, right? Do you think they just come here and they basically go on, spend the same tank of gas, go right back home, spend all the dollars, gas up, come right back? You think that's what's happening? No, it's not what happens, right? Most of those people that are crossing rivers, they're coming here to stay. They pay a lot of motherfucking money just to do that. Let me hell fucking ransom until they go ahead and pay additional point, some of which wasn't even agreed upon before they come over here, right? And those people are held in horrible conditions. So at the end of the day, I agree there should be border patrol because at the end of the day, we need motherfuckers to be held accountable for those type of shit or whatnot to go what they fucking do to those people, right? The actual cartels or whatnot. And the people that are fucking around, the possibility of terrorists coming through the border. We need border security. I'm not saying that, but at the end of the day, your whole thing is a contribution to the state, and every dollar is taxed. So if every dollar is taxed and every dollar spent gets taxed, and how are they not paying tax and contributing to society? And then you want to go ahead and pull the rug out and fuck around and do a show, but behind closed curtains act like we don't see the inner works of shit, right? You say that the tax dollars money is going to their health care, right? Number one, us Americans, and I've done it myself because the motherfucking hospital bills are too fucking high and healthcare is out of control, right? Because you don't have enough competition within the states because they all have a specific region, just like the cable company, so they can go ahead and tax you what the fuck they want with these high-ass deductibles with coverage limits that may not even cover you if you're going to have a specific motherfucking, say, an ailment like the C word. I don't even like saying it, but let's just say the C word, right? You fuck around and have that shit and they have to do an operation, but you don't have the policy limits, well, you're fucked. You get to die on the table. Or whatever the other option is, but you don't get the option that's going to save you right then and there, right? So, again, Americans often go to the hospital and they fuck around and they don't pay the bill. Simple as that, right? But you want to say our tax dollars all going to their motherfucking health care. Well, number one, the government technically pays themselves off government bonds. That's realistically, the government prints money and then pays themselves off these fucking bonds, right? So where do our tax dollars really go? You don't want it to go on infrastructure. You said it yourself. I don't want it to be spent on infrastructure. You're a Republican that doesn't want money spent on infrastructure. You don't want our roads to be safe. You don't want our bridges to be safe. You don't want to fuck around and have. You don't have a problem with overpacked traffic probably because you're riding your little fucking helicopter. You don't have a problem with the motherfucking housing shortage. You don't have a problem with any of that infrastructure shit, right? Even our electric grid is shit. But at the end of the day, you want to fuck around and just say, oh, you know what, fuck it. We don't want to spend on that. So again, where does our tax dollar go? Where do you want it to go? Is it the corporate tax cuts that you want to hand out to these big companies because it's the big donors that put you in the position that you are to push the policies that you do? You think we're stupid, right? But at the end of the day, you're not an economist. See, I'm an actual motherfucking economist. I fuck around and I pay attention to the goddamn charts every day, every hour. So when people like your stupid ass come here and try and paint a fucking picture like you're a goddamn artist or something, at the end of the day, we don't actually know that you're not fucking doing nothing, but basically you're trying to go and paint a Van Gogh and act like you read it and said Ben Shapiro. No, you're not Ben Shapiro Van Gogh. You're Ben Shapiro's bitch ass that's trying to go ahead and fuck around and take credit for somebody else's work. You're not an artist. You're a shit. You basically spew the policies that these motherfuckers donate to your shit. So again, you're not the artist. You're you're basically the imitator. You're the person. You seen that movie where they had the double of a Saddam Hussein? You're that. You're the double. You're the mouthpiece. You're just the motherfucking asshole that they allow you to spew the shit that they want put in position of putting policy in. That's it, right? So what's your contribution? Again, where do you want the tax dollars to go? Where does our tax dollars go in the first place? If the government gets paid out bonds, where does it go? How come we don't have receipts for that? Oh, is it because you'd like to go and paint the picture to the public that it's all because immigrants and all this other shit just as solely as a fucking diversion to basically pull the rug out from under us and really see what's really going on, right? You said yourself also in the same joint. What's crazy to me is you said, oh, let's talk about the tax cuts, right? Because you said that the tax cuts helped. But then you also said, well, at least you were smart enough to know that when demand goes up, right, the cost goes up. When there's more money, demand goes up. But you failed to realize how there was less supply. What happened under Trump's policy? The world shut down. We knew about COVID in November or October of 19, and we didn't do anything about it. We didn't shut all these borders off or do anything that we could have did to protect the country then. Before March or whatever the fucking case was, before the fucking world shut down. And then we want to point the fucking finger, right, at the other motherfuckers that are responsible because we didn't take the motherfucking precautions we should have. And you guys are so strict on border policy, where was it then? Where was it then? Was it all meant to be? Bitch ass boy. But those corporate tax cuts, right? Again, we kind of know that they go to the big donors that go and produce your products, but let's talk about the actual tax cuts that go to the actual citizen, right? The little $30 I saw in my check, which didn't compete with the cost of inflation. Those little wage increases that I got never actually competed with the cost of inflation, so therefore my wage increases, it felt like I was starting a new job from a level below each fucking year with every single wage increase under Trump's term. Biden the same, but we all know that, you know, there's a reaction. There's a subsequent reaction to every action, right? So when you guys were handing out free fucking money and doing all that shit with the Tenant Act and all that bullshit and the PPE loans that a lot of my friends got fucked around and hit for federal bullshit, right? Because they decided to go and take advantage of the same shit that you motherfuckers took advantage of, but you probably aren't going to do any federal offenses because you can go ahead and doctor it up and make it look, oh, I had 20 employees. No, you didn't. At the end of the day, we're paying for that now. What happened in the world of COVID? What happened when the world shut down? Supply went way out the window, right? But the demand is still there. And you put all this free money into the economy. So all that little supply that we had got bought the fuck up. So now we have even shorter supply and higher demand. You're smart enough to realize that. So when you sit there and say, oh, we had these tax cuts, blah, blah, blah. Well, they came there to bite us on our motherfucking ass. Same with the tariffs, huh? Because the consumer pays the fucking cost, you fucking idiot. So at the end of the day, I want to go ahead and just paint the picture of what you really are, which is a piece of shit. Which goes, I'm going to go and sleep on my bed of money, and that you don't contribute to the motherfucking state. Well, then at the end of the day, then you don't have any right to be here. But you're not a man of God then. Oh, let's talk about the marriage shit, right? I seen somebody eat you up on marriage, right? You said something about, now granted, I'm not for people pushing gay shit on TV or for them sharing bathrooms or that type of shit, but I have no problem with the gay community. If you can marry who the fuck you want to marry, you have equal rights to me. I don't give a fuck, right? As long as we're not pushing the shit on fucking TV all the time. Maybe have a channel specifically for that, or a couple channels, but you don't have to put it on every show. That's all I'm saying, right? Or share bathrooms or fuck around, you know, have men athletes trying to go ahead and saying that they're women and going ahead and, you know, competing against women in a women's sport. That type of shit is weird. It's not right. So in any case, Your whole thing though was that you don't have equal rights if you're a gay marriage as opposed to a man and woman, because the whole point of a man and woman is to contribute to the state by having a baby. It's not by God, the blessing of God, and to go ahead and basically just have a baby to go ahead and be whatever the baby wants to be if you're gay, whatever the case may be, right? They have the choice. That's the land of the free. You have a choice to be what the fuck you want to be, right? But your whole thing was, unless you can have a baby, you don't have equal rights because you can't contribute to the state. And the man ate you up and said, okay, so after your daughters or your sons leave the house, are you going to divorce? And you were caught stupid again, right? You get caught looking stupid a lot. And I know that your little Republican friends laugh at some of the shit, but that's because they're fucking stupid enough to actually go and buy into the shit. Or maybe they're just stupid enough to go and basically, or I should say, think that we're dumb enough to think that you can go and play into the same motherfucking musical act or whatever the fuck you want to go and portray on that little stage, right? And we don't know what's going on behind the fucking scenes and behind those curtains that you like to keep closed. You're a little motherfucking imbecile, bro. At the end of the day, you're not even a man. I don't give a fuck how much you can go to sleep on with your little bit of money, because if I caught you around the corner, I yank you up, you're gonna scream like a little bitch. That's the thing. You can't even defend yourself. You talk loud on TV, but you wouldn't do that if you wouldn't have no security and you caught a motherfucker around the corner by yourself in the alley. You'd be pussy. And that's why you have such a problem with yourself. That's why you have such an insecurity and you want to spew this motherfucking hate. Pretend that you're a man of God, rock your little yarmulke and shit, but then say that everybody has a duty to the state. When that's because the state is paying your bitch ass and put you in that fucking seat, or whoever did with your little spoon-fed ass, and you didn't never have to experience shit, but you just want to be able to continue your little power motherfucking play that you can and think that we're all stupid enough to buy into it and that we're all just numbers to contribute to the state. Fuck you. Fuck everything about you, and I'd slap the shit out you if I could, and I wouldn't fuck around and catch a charge. You're a bitch. You're a straight bitch, and you're always gonna be a bitch. You was born a bitch. I think God fucked around and maybe probably did something wrong in your fucking past life, because you sound like Pat from Saturday Night Live, but you look like a man. So at the end of the day, we're confused. Are you a bitch or are you a man? Pussy.